What up? Are you an intermediate in something and you hit a plateau? Well, you're in luck. You came to the right video, bud. Nah, but for real, check it out. No matter what you're doing, and I made this video with language learning in mind, but it really works for fitness or anything else. You come to a point where you feel like you hit a plateau. And you feel like, I don't know what I could do to get any better. It's like I'm working, but nothing's happening, right? Let's examine that. Let's examine what a plateau is, because that's what I always ask people. People come up to me in the gym all the time. How do I break this plateau? I'm like, what plateau are you at? And they tell me, and I'm like, that's not a plateau, bro. It's not. It's literally not a plateau. Like, it's only a plateau in your mind. I'll give you an example. I can't break this plateau. 315 bench. Like, I can hit 315. I can't do anymore. And I'm like, have you tried? And they're like, try what? And I'm like, have you tried like 320? And they're like, no, I've put 340 on a couple times and I've missed it. Like, that's the plateau. And I'm like, oh, that's not a plateau, bro. You're just kind of stupid. Like, take the smaller jump, bro. Like, it's not a plateau. If you tried 320 a bunch of times and you didn't hit it, I would also say, have you tried doing more work on this side of things? Like, you don't have to hit 320 right now. Have you done any reps and sets more than you normally do? And I'll be like, what's the last thing you did? Oh, well, I did a 5x5 at 285, and then I tried 340. And I'm like, okay, did you try a 5x5 at 290 or like any reps at 290? No, I didn't do that. I'm like, okay, bro, that's not a plateau. You're just choosing to not make any progress. Like, you're choosing to make a big ass step instead of doing the smallest step possible. Another thing that happens is maybe they are doing those small steps and they just choose to believe that they're at a plateau. So, same scenario, I'll say, have you tried doing reps with 290? Yeah, I've done that. Oh, okay. Have you tried doing reps with 295, 300? Yeah, I've been doing that. It's just I can't hit 340. Same thing. I'm like, that's not a plateau, bro. You're moving forward, just not at the rate that you want to. Like, you're not stuck. You're just not making the progress that you want to. That's a shift in perspective. That's not actually like you physically being stuck. Back to language learning. It's the same thing. It's like when you first start learning a language, you know nothing, literally, or you might know a little bit of something, but it's next to nothing, right? So you learn the alphabet, you learn numbers, sounds, you learn all this stuff, and it's like, I couldn't do anything before. Oh, now I'm understanding a little bit of conversations. Now I can make a couple of sentences, and it just keeps going up, right? The ultimate point of progression in language learning is having a conversation. So everything's building up to you having a conversation. And the first time you have a conversation in your new language, it's like, yo, this was the best feeling ever. All that work I did, I just talked to someone in another language. Like, that was so cool. There's literally nothing else after that. Like, it's like, bro, you just talked. Like, that's communication. Great job. So you're like looking for something, but there's nothing else. So here are your options. You can acknowledge that while you already can have conversations, your conversations are getting more advanced. You're still learning new words every day. That's not a plateau. You are absolutely progressing. Or you can set some higher goals, because there are things above a conversation. There's being educated in a language. For instance, I signed up for like some, I don't want to talk about it too much, but some university level stuff in Spanish. Do I regret it? Almost, because that shit is hard, bro. But I didn't want to just be like, oh, I can speak to people. Nah, bro. Levels. Eventually, I want to teach something in Spanish. You get what I'm saying? So I'm taking the level up. So if you feel like you are stuck, look for the next step up. The same way in English, we have steps up, bro. Like, just because you can talk to somebody on a farm does not mean that you have the intelligence to deliver a lecture or take a college course or something like that. So, again, kind of reframing where you're going, you can either say, okay, here's the other thing too. You might have just reached your goal, bro. Like, it might not be a plateau. You might have just done what you set out to do. A lot of people start learning a language and they're like, I want to become conversational. And then they get there and they're like, I'm not making any progress. And it's like, bro, you achieved your whole goal. Like, you didn't set a high enough goal. Like, you just said you wanted to talk to people. Congratulations, bro. You can talk to people. What do you want to do now? So you might have to make a new goal. You might have to just admit that you're at the point that you want and you don't want to do anything else, bro. If you just wanted to talk to people in Spanish and that's it, you did it, bro. Maybe you want to move on to another language. Maybe you don't want to learn much more. Like, that's okay if that's what you want to do. So, like I said, reframe and actually look, are you doing work? Are you progressing at all? If you are, you're not at a plateau. Are you trying to make too much progress in a short amount of time and just disappointing yourself? And did you actually reach where you're trying to get to? If you look at those three things, I promise you'll probably realize I'm not at a plateau, because most plateaus don't exist. They're in our heads. There are some legitimate plateaus that I'm not going to get into. I'm just talking about intermediates. You're not at a plateau. Change your mindset. If you're an expert, you might be. You might have reached the peak of whatever you were trying to do, and there's nowhere to go from there. But everybody else, you intermediates or whatever you're doing, you're not at a plateau. You're just confused. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Have a good day.